from Orlando, Florida. How are things in the Sunshine State?
Oh, kind of like what you would expect. Muggy, sticky, a little bit nasty, hot, but, beautiful
but
scenery.
It's good for your skin.
Swamp. Oh, yeah.
You'll stay younger looking longer because of the humidity.
That's true.
So
you know what? That is very true. Wow, Rob, that is like some super dramatic camera action that you got going on there. Is that like autonomous theatrical cinematography?
Actually, I have my own cameraman. I have my own cameraman here in the office. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. So look at this. I got an AI 4K video camera that you can put on your laptop or your screen or whatever. It just came in the mail, and so I'm just learning it. And so among other things, it lets you. So you launch the software, and you can set all the sharpness, coloration, whatever, saturation, like you do on your camera. And then it'll translate that through to things like Zoom or Teams or anything else. And so, but then it has this AI cameraman thing, and so it will follow you around.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
That's cool. And you know what? And to the crowd that loves to talk about automation killing jobs, this is a job that Rob Tiffany would never have hired someone in the first place for anyway, right?
Yeah.
There was no way you were going to pay a human to just follow you in your office. I mean, that'd be weird and expensive.
I really thought you were about to go the other way with that, dude. I thought you were going to tell me how I'm killing jobs in the movie making industry or whatever.
No, because this is a very specific scenario where, again, you just wouldn't have created the job in the first place because there's no ROI.
Yeah.
There you
go. Yeah. Good point. So this camera is pretty cool. I'm one of those suckers. Have you bought anything off of Instagram? Any of you?
No. Because I'm not even on Instagram.
Oh, whatever. What are you, old or something?
Boomer.
Yes.
Okay, boomer. I've bought watches, cool looking watches off Instagram. A lot of people are selling clothes and really cool things on the gram, on IG. And I think I learned about this 4K camera. The other thing is most of the cameras out there are doing most of them just do 720. And then you'll have a few that are streaming at 1080 and you get different speeds. This is the first one I've seen at 4K, but it's interesting when you read about it and all the information, they actually talk about what you're really getting through all these apps like Zoom and Teams and stuff like that. Apparently by default, they're all streaming at 360p by default, which I didn't realize.
And then there's some encoding or decoding to upscale stuff in transit. The video quality sucks. But keep going. Sorry, I just have to throw that in there.
If all of us had clicked on the HD checkbox on Zoom, that only would have taken us to 720p. It's not like it would have been super magic. And so even though this camera is doing a lot of video processing at 4K, they realize I'm not obviously streaming in 4K as soon as I go. But the cool thing is, if you're using it if you need to create your own videos locally on your laptop or your desktop computer with this, then you could crank it up and use all the full capabilities and create a much richer, local video if you're doing training videos or whatever, or making a commercial.
I don't know. I purchased a high-end VGA cable for my CRT monitor, and I cannot tell the difference in quality of your 4K.
Is it a monster cable? made out of gold?
Yeah, one that costs 3 times. Hey, look at this dude, Xbox.
Or
not Xbox, PlayStation.
I just miss being able to do like a 12 or 24 pin and then have to like tighten it. Like I miss doing that. We're fancy now.
That's what, but that the tightening of the screws and everything, that's what solidified your quality.
Yes. Yes.
Your quality.
Like it's
Your
tight.
quality.
It's tight.
No one knows how to tighten the screws on people like David Vasquez.
All day. Bill,
So
before you came
ridiculous.
in, Rob was mentioning how because Leonard is in this beautiful, humid weather in Orlando, is good for the skin. And I'm proof of it being from the Caribbean because no one believes that I'm 63 years old. Look at this.
Oh, really?
No, I was looking at that. I looked through some history, and I found you, David, back in 1953, and you look the same. Man.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know if he was like a vampire who's been living throughout the years and taking over new people's identities over time.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I can tell you right now, my vacation spot where I'm going to retire is in the Dominican Republic.
My man.
Okay. Punta Cana Resort, right over there by Corrales Golf Course. That's where I'll be retired.
Oh, he knows.
Boom.
That's right.
All right. The weather.
You
is
have
awesome.
A blueprint.
It's indoor, outdoor living all day long. Man, come on, man.
And you can truly live off the land. You get coconuts, mangoes, avocados, couple of chickens, pigs, goats, and
fresh fish, you name it. No, and you don't get regular avocados. Their avocados are like this.
No, they're big. We don't grow. Here in the U.S., we're used to the Haas brand. Yeah. We get a lot from Mexico. We get a lot from Chile. We get a lot from California. But in the Caribbean, you have a larger mass. They're not good for avocado. So Rob, watch out. For guacamole. They're not good for that. But if you think of but the taste of the avocado just with a little bit of salt, that could be your meal. With a 1 pound avocado, a knife, and a little bit of salt, and the skin comes off. It is a beautiful thing, man.
Oh my God, Bill,
that's ridiculous.
Do you think you could create like a compound for all of us so that we can all live there?
Yeah. Everybody, man. I mean, there's enough space. There's enough space for everyone.
It'll be our own little metaverse.
That is the Dominican way.
Geez.
No, man, the real verse.
Yeah.
The Dominican metaverse. Yeah. The real verse sounds a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Speaking of Caribbean and the ocean and something IoT related, that is in my radar. So AWS announced with the Port of Long Beach, the first, to my knowledge, the first US-based project for supply chain visibility. Now, we've been hearing about supply chain visibility for like 252 years. Like the Mayflower had like 3 project managers for
Control
supply chain. Tower. Yes. But effectively, they're looking to have to stand up a platform, probably on top of S3, to let whoever needs to know what's coming and what's going at the port level. And the idea is if individual operators with their own individual sets of responsibilities, if they have an idea of what's coming and what's leaving, everyone can adjust and find operational efficiencies. This has been put in place for years now out of Antwerp, a project called Port Next, where you had the port, private, public entities participating. And it's basically a pub-sub platform. I identify myself, I need this data, and I give you this data, and life is good. And this is the first instance that I see this of in the US. And I hope it goes excellent because all of us, whether we buy from Instagram or from Costco or your mom and pop grocery store, we can all use some supply chain visibility and eliminate some bottlenecks because we need baby formula.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? So here's the thing. I don't think that it's the case that we don't have visibility. We do. We have structural issues. There's supply chain issues, and the problem is physical. It has nothing to do with what digital can solve in its entirety, right? You know, and good luck, AWS. I mean, they've been trying to do this kind of stuff forever, 20 years at least. But it's not a technology problem. It's a governance issue. And,
part of it,
there's been plenty
technology can help though, dude. Like when we watched that 60 Minutes thing and the truck drivers in Long Beach were saying their online scheduling system was total crap. And they would find out like day of that they need to drive their 18-wheeler into Long Beach to pick, they said it was just a nightmare. But they need to get organized, no doubt about it.
Well, there's technology. It's there. You have to implement it. It has to be adopted in terms of end user acceptance and usage. And it takes a long time to get there. And then there's a ton of dirty laundry. And we talk about dirty laundry, and more industries that I talk to, there's more dirty laundry out there that needs to be dealt with, that for ages has stymied all these people in the supply chain industry who have been going around saying, look, we can give you global visibility, and have not been able to deliver it regardless of what kind of technology they're bringing to the table. And I'm only saying this because I've seen this for 25 years.
I agree.
Good luck.
Well, so I agree. So your points and your comments are coming, in fact, from experience, so no argument there. But I'm going to remain an optimist because at least when we at a macro level in a port, one commonality that all of these operators have is that the faster they get in and out of there, the faster money exchanges hands, right? So you have an economic driver to be more efficient. From Rob's truck drivers, if I don't have to idle, that literally translates $2 to the distribution center because they want to put stuff on retail shelves and make money.
Sure.
So I think because the drivers there, the economic drivers there, we will see adoption. Also, is only going to take. I'll stick to the truck drivers now. If I'm managing a fleet and I can take advantage of this new data set that's available just for me to better schedule and deliver a better experience to my drivers, I'm going to do it. And the instant that company that has been doing the same thing for 30, 50 years, that change is going to, not adapting to change, is going to hurt them. So we'll see. A funny one that I thought in this context is when we think of all the IoT point solutions that solve one problem and they all have their own platform, this isn't great for them because the scheme is I have a pops up single platform. I just need data acquisition. That's it. So I need a sensor.
Yeah.
And I need to, stick it on a magnet, like we were talking about the other day. Well, there's no platform. There's no platform to subscribe to, right? So this will be interesting. It'll commoditize a lot of this stuff because I just need data acquisition. I've got the platform. We'll see.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I have a PowerPoint from 25 years ago.
Of course you did.
That said exactly the same thing.
And that's because you are 75 years old, Leonard, also living in the Caribbean. So 25 years ago, when you were already an executive at Anderson Consulting or something like that, you had a deck for that.
Yeah.
But it's a good point. I mean, I'm not convinced that I'm not convinced that it's a technology problem because the technology can help. Yes. I mean, now we get into the breakup of whether it's cold chain or whether it's, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. That changes the conversation a bit. But there are companies that are big shipping companies that have been saying this is a $10 billion problem. And they've been saying it's a $10 billion problem since Sasquatch, became present. It's been that long. And you know what? We still haven't found Bigfoot.
He's right.
That's $10 billion.
Sasquatch became president.
Look, man, if we're going to talk about mythical figures, you have a $10 billion problem that could only be addressed with a $23 billion consulting fee before we get to the hardware.
Look, so here's the deal. I don't give much credence to announcements anymore. You can say you're doing shit. It's like, no, it's great that you are announcing you're doing something or putting a platform out there. Let me see it work. And let me see you go out and do the tough work that it takes to actually take a technology that's sitting in a box or sitting in a server out in the distant cloud and actually doing something. That is a huge difference. And we see this across the board, whether it's through this whole unicorn VC culture where we're funding companies that are unprofitable, haven't made a dime, getting huge valuations. We give them all this attention and hype, and then it all amounts to nothing. And the reason why I'm saying this is I've already, for 25 years, I've seen people come back with the same story. When I was at Gartner and I was talking to supply chain guys, and going to the supply chain conference, heard the same stuff. This was like 7 years ago. Very little. I mean, I'm telling you guys, we bring about up dirty laundry all the time. Dude, this is just like, Rob's story about the vending machines. There's a lot of dirty laundry in this industry. And you think,
I mean, the mafia?
Come in here and somehow. Well, their protection, right? it's all about
some people don't want transparency.
Some
people don't want accountability.
They don't want transparency. And you know what? Some of these entities that have a lot of data, they just don't want to share it because that is one instance where that saying that data is gold or whatever, oil, blah blah blah, is actually very true. Is if you keep it away from people, make it exclusive, and put a paywall on it or a pay service on it. And there's a lot of dirty laundry. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, look, again, good luck. But let me see the bullet points of all the stuff that you're going to do beyond just build it and they will come and it will solve a problem that people haven't figured out how to solve because they haven't factored in the dirty laundry problem. And I'm telling you, the dirty laundry, I'm here at Honeywell thing. And I hear a lot of dirty laundry stuff.
I have a lot of dirty laundry info to pass along to you guys when we're not recording.
Yeah.
Actually. I've learned just recently that it's like.
And I have a physical dirty laundry to do. It's the end of the week and there's 2 kids here. So lots of that.
But Leonard, I do have an announcement to make about a platform. You do? Yes.
Oh, no.
But before you do it, show proof, because Leonard is going to go off the rails and he's going to bring back an abacus, a stone tablet, and a 40-year-old presentation that predates PowerPoint.
My announcement is in my little small greenhouse IoT digital twin platform, I broke apart the ingestion system and made it into something we call a microservice. And it's a microservice, people. And I've been optimizing it because, obviously when that telemetry, that message is flying in, what's the first thing you have to do? You catch it. It's like throw the football from the device, goes over the network, catch that football. And then you got to take a look at it. Who are you? Are you in my system? Oh, okay. Oh, what's your security token? Okay, yeah, you're good. Spike that ball in the end zone, which is also a metaphor for the message queue.
Wow.
Anyway, I broke that apart to super optimize the telemetry ingestion thing to be faster and simpler. And anyway, so there's my big microservice announcement from a platform that's involved in this. Yeah, no platforms were harmed during the making of this.
So let me get this straight. So you're watching football and you saw something, you saw a play that made you think of this microservices strategy. Is that what we're supposed to take away from all of this?
No,
that you have to watch football for IoT inspiration?
I blended another metaphor and just decided to throw it in along with my microservice announcement on my platform.
Okay.
But I did do a slide deck a while back. I'll send it to you. It has a bunch of Seahawks in it. But when I was trying to describe what IoT is to the lay person, it's like, what's the device? And I showed Russell Wilson throwing the football, and the football is the telemetry message. Yeah. And then I showed, like, I don't know, DK Metcalf or somebody, catching the ball. That's your platform.
Yeah.
And then in the end zone, spiking it. And the next thing you know, you're holding up the Super Bowl trophy. And so just try to simplify what IoT is for people who don't understand. Right. It's not that hard. It's not rocket science. I got a little thingy over here, and I got a thingy over here, and I go.
But I'll give you a localization strategy for Europe. I was talking to some Europeans here, and they have no idea about football. So you're gonna have to adapt it. You're gonna have to do a soccer version, like a football version.
Just go rugby or cricket, and you're covered.
That's even more.
Because if I'm a soccer player kicking the ball in the goal and the goalie misses it and it just goes in, what does that mean in IoT? Does it mean that was a miss? Or
I don't know. The
platform
got hacked.
Depends which team you were on. I would say message delivered.
It got hacked.
Really? Oh.
The goalie has to
drop packet,
catch and authenticate and authorize before dropping it into the message bus, queue, whatever. But if it went straight in the net, it just got into your system without being authenticated. And now you've got potentially a poison message.
There you go.
Well, I had the freemium version and no security. So I had no goalie. Just send it straight into the net.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I do know about some of those free and easy to use IoT platforms, which are valuable for education, where they just have a single API key that everybody can use to send messages in. Yeah. It's kind of like that. Security
you should add a disclaimer to all of this that says no analogies were harmed during the transfer of information here.
No.
Right.
All analogies remain the same.
How do we imagine a DDoS attack with a soccer analogy?
It's a whole bunch of people kicking soccer balls. Like,
yeah. Eventually, the goalie gets hit in the face, and it just your net is full and can no longer access anything.
Yeah. I just noticed
we need to use the AI for your camera when it does the zoom in. We need that. We need like the either the Seinfeld riff or the NCIS, like because it's very dramatic.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
That I look like, what's that Muppet that's like a monster or whatever guy? I just look like Grizzly Adams today. I noticed something.
Animal.
The one
that plays the drums.
Yeah, I think that's who I am today. Is Animal, who plays the drums from the Muppets, for sure. Yeah.
Funny. So,
do kids know what
else
the Muppets
is going
are
on
today? Do they know about the Muppets? Don't they?
Kind of do. Yeah.
I did watch a little. I did try to catch up on a little of the. I hadn't ever finished the third season of Stranger Things, so I watched the last few episodes of that last night in preparation for the new Stranger Things deals coming out this weekend. And why would anyone care about that? Because it's so 80s. Anyway.
Yeah, the 80s were great.
It was cool.
Hey, so I have a question for David. So I'm here at Honeywell's user group conference. And, this whole conference is focused on oil and gas, chemicals, pharma, so basically a lot of the process, process industry sectors. And I've been going around asking actually a lot of the Honeywell customers, as well as, the Honeywell engineers, about things like, cloud and 5G, just to kind of test what the level of interest or adoption or even just awareness there is. And I'll tell you guys right now, it's actually it's very low. In fact, I would say they're almost like at a I don't give a shit level of interest for it. And there's a lot of perspective that I'm starting to tune into, where even the cloud is a bit of a head scratcher, even though there's some industries where it makes sense. David, I wanted to ask you. So I know that you're from an operator standpoint. You guys are you're part of the business group. I mean, what are you guys encountering? What are you guys saying?
The following,
because you guys are doing all this private stuff, right? Trying to get cellular in there.
The following comment may or may not reflect the feelings of my employer. So, but first to your comment, Leonard, of low awareness and that they don't give a shit. Dude, here's the thing: we've all talked to the to that end user, if you would, the operator, the builder of a frac pad over an oil field, like whatever Rob's showing. Oh, he's just taking selfies or something.
I'm like talking on another. I'm on another call.
Oh wow! The
true digital twin.
When you're at the frac pad and the conversation is about data acquisition to do something better operationally, not so much how are you connecting anything so that I can have data acquisition so that I can operationalize anything. So with that, I agree that it's not that they don't care. It's just like, what's the difference, right? But from a private, right. So from a private deployment perspective, what you do have, oil and gas, they have been building their proprietary mesh or point-to-point or microwave networks for a gazillion years experience. They know the experience, good or bad, of what happens when you do Wi-Fi in that environment, and what's good and what sucks. They know. So a place where, in my biased opinion, 5G will make a difference is that we can deliver a Wi-Fi-like experience with less kit to a larger area to deliver the same service that these guys are talking about. So, maybe the approach is, if we go with, this is shiny and new, you're not going to get any attention because who cares? Yeah. Versus, here's something that you're already doing, and here might be a better way to do it in some instances. And then we can get into things like, okay, if we do CBRS, can we, is general license enough, or we need, PAL? And why would we use licensed spectrum here? And if we do, are we going low band, mid band, high? Right. That sort of thing. But the quicker success have been in terms of larger coverage with less kit for an existing device. And I cannot say device, which again, going back to Wi-Fi, right? How do you explain to a customer who has deployed Wi-Fi, what is the transparent way for that device to go onto, say, private LTE or private 5G? Because if it's Wi-Fi only, it doesn't freaking work. And let me tell you what they're not going to do. They're not going to refresh 250 pieces of $3,000 scanners just because you brought in a new frequency, right? That's not happening. So we need to do a better job of explaining the whole 5G LAN concept, where the inherent technology is cellular-based. But if you have a Wi-Fi device, cool, man, keep it. Let's roll. So that will be my set of unapproved by my employer comments, but they might be in line with what we would say.
No.
As soon as you said less kit, Nicholas Hobbledop was going into convulsions down in Plano. So less kit.
Yeah, but he's got, what? I heard he's got a great Ericsson healthcare package and parachute. He's going to be all right.
Okay. All right.
And in this case, it's more kit because now you have a private entity, oil and gas customer, buying a kit that otherwise the operator wouldn't buy because there are no people in the middle of, middle of nowhere or
middle of nowhere. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I'll just say that there's a huge gap in knowledge, awareness, and acknowledgement. And I think acknowledgement's an important thing between the two camps, the way that operators are looking at an opportunity and the way that the end markets are looking at the technology and the services that are built on it or delivered using that technology. So it's sobering, let's put it that way, but solvable. You can solve it.
It's all solvable.
Show.
I mean, I kind of feel like that over time there's been a lack of desire to understand the underlying technology. They don't, most people don't get into the bits and bytes. Don't tell me about QoS for these types of things. Don't talk to me about licensed frequency versus unlicensed frequencies. I don't, they're like, I don't care. Tell me how to solve this problem that I'm having, which is either a business problem or an operational problem. Tell me how I solve that or how you're going to solve it for me. I don't need to understand what's under the covers. And so by sheer nature of that, over time, you've lost your inside technology people that sit there and go, oh, this is the technology that we're going to use, and here's how it benefits us.
Yeah.
Bill, and I'm what if, but not everyone needs to know, imagine if everyone delivered precise requirements that if met would deliver business outcomes. And so we're having a requirement conversation. And how you deliver those requirements.
I like this.
I don't care. I need X, Y, and Z.
That's exactly what it is.
Me this, I can do that. And
are you
boom.
Canadian?
Why? Z.
Z.
Hey, did you check out that Brad Pitt movie about zombies called World War Z?
You know what? I just wanted to convey that I have a passport and I have left the state that I live in. Okay.
No, but you're absolutely right. It is a requirement. But all right. So again, I can go from company to company, city to city, utility to utility, and no requirements match. No requirements match.
True. Yeah.
Right. So
not everything.
It is a requirements conversation. And the problem that I have is sitting on the other side of the table where I'm not delivering a product or anything. And I'm helping these utilities, municipalities and everything understand what the OEM is saying.
Yeah.
I'm the translator. I'm Babelfish.
I
always knew that about you. Yep. No.
I mean, but that's important because to the point you were making earlier, all the stuff is getting so complex. I mean, 5G itself, it's even complex for the comm sector. Like for operators, there's people in operators organizations that don't rightly know what 5G is. And I don't.
What is the answer?
This stuff is, sort of. If you can figure out how to, match it with the requirements you're talking about, right? But how do you do that? And then if you look at the organizations, the enterprise, who in these organizations actually have the knowledge or the experience and competency to have the kinds of discussions that you're talking about, Bill, to ask the right questions, to have some sort of decision model to figure out, okay, does this solution or what's being proposed actually fit and meet my requirements, but also probably most importantly, provide economics that support our value proposition or ROI model. Those are tough things, and I think because organizations lack that competency, there's some reticence to listen. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think there's a bit of that with the OEMs as well, because you have all these people going with their techno marketing nonsense. And initially, everybody's been listening to it. The actual delivery has just fallen flat on its face. And so there's no trust anymore, so people just become really wary if you walk up and say, hey, look, check out 5G or, check out AI or this or that. They kind of, we've heard about 100 other people come by and say the same stuff, and it doesn't work, or, it doesn't do what people say that it does, and so they just get tired of it.
Well, I mean,
and I think that's a bit of what's been happening, because
I think it's going to continue to happen.
But just don't want to hear it. They literally don't want to hear about 5G.
It's going to continue to happen because so many of the OEMs, will advocate, and rightfully so. It's a business. You should advocate for the technological solution that you're providing. Yeah. You should advocate for that. But don't make the mistake of saying that this solves all problems, because it doesn't. Because the very first thing I'm going to look at is, where do you sit in the stack? Because if you're layer 1, 2, and 3, I know where to put you. And if you're layer 6 and 7, I know where to put you. So things get conflated when we're talking about, everyone talks end to end. You're layer 7. Yes, you are, sir. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment. I took that personally, so I'm going to go put myself in a place.
Things get conflated, right? I mean, we're talking about a solution. So we go to the use case. We say, this is what's going to happen. We're going to Rob, to your point, we're going to transport the data over here. And then on our back end in the cloud, we've got 17 different microservices that are going to handle your data. And okay, so you're telling me that you're a telecom company that has an end-to-end solution, and now you're going to tell me how you're going to solve world hunger by way of this. No, you're not. I want to understand what parts of the ecosystem belong to you, what ecosystem partners you have, why they're considered best in class, and why they're going to actually solve my problem.
Yeah.
It's a catch-22.
Can they deliver?
It's a catch-22, Bill.
Can they deliver?
This is why consultancies continue to be profitable. Because if I can allocate a resource just on the execution phase, literally, I'm going to throw a body to that, what we agreed, I am here to execute it. That's where the money is. Because the catch-22 comment is, do you want to be, you're a large company, you have many different challenges, and you have a gigantic pool of people pitching you point solutions. What happens when you adopt 53 point solutions to solve 53 different problems that don't talk to each other? We know that
don't integrate.
Is horseshit, right? Yeah. But, so the flip side is, do you trust a company that does end to end? There is no end to end unless we just go, hold on, back to your layer comment, right? I believe that you do this end to end, but by the time I get here, that's somebody else. And we get, and then we get into, are we having a commercial discussion or a technical discussion? Is it just one contract or one vendor doing everything? It's tricky as hell.
What layer is this?
I'm gonna bring a wiffle bat.
But no, I think you're right. It's a technical conversation to serve as a business outcome.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. So it's I'm going to tell you that there's a problem and it's a business problem. I'm going to tell you that there's a technical solution to help you reach your business outcome. And then I'm going to tell you how we get there. And then to your point, the execution piece of it, right? If we can extract out a lot of the tech talk piece of it and just show you where things are connecting and where the handoffs are, then I think you have an easier conversation.
You know, we can solve this with 3 slides from 25 years ago that Leonard made in using credence. You know, step one.
You know what?
Look, step 1, identify a stakeholder who is political as hell, and you can elevate this person's image. He'll be your executive sponsor.
Oh my God.
Step 2, cover the business plan. And at the end, the bullet point, just say, and I quote me on this, we'll get rid of the debt weight. And step 3, the PO is signed. Execute, let's roll. That's all
You're a genius.
No.
Oh my God.
I will distill all of that down to one thing. Okay. This is all you need. All you need. Okay.
6G.
Come up with a cool project name. Bam. Problem solved, baby.
Project.
You just need a cool. Yeah. I mean, you don't understand how important having a really cool project name is.
That's so important.
It can mean the difference between failure and success.
You know, Scott Adams from Dilbert is listening to this right now, and he's like, "You boys are so right with the project name."
Dude, we could start a consulting firm based on Dilbert cartoons and use that to everything. And people are like, "You guys are geniuses." Yeah. Hey, I just want to say something unrelated to all this. I just want to make some commentary on microphones. I want to say that Bill sounds incredible. The way his voice sounds and his mic, whatever you got going there, he's going to end up telling me he has nothing special going there, but it sounds perfect. On the flip side, Leonard, I just want to say that even with the most advanced AirPods Pro, do you realize that stuff, no matter who the vendor is, does not even come close to the just wired earbuds with the built-in microphone on the wire that you can get like from Skull Candy at the airport for like $15. The Skull Candy deal with the wire blows this high-tech stuff away as far as sound quality.
Pathetic. See, you know what? And here's the other thing. You're bringing up such an important thing. Wired. I think we're going to have a reversal of the wireless revolution. We're going to go back to wired.
Yes. I believe you're 100% correct, because I wired our whole house. I mean, the connectivity plan, wired.
Yeah.
Bill sounds great. Yeah. And Bill's wired.
I'm wired, and I promise you this. We will at some point. We're gonna do an IoT Coffee Talk commercial, and it's gonna be circa 1975, where you're listening to IoT Coffee Talk with your host Leonard Lee.
Oh dang!
Listen to that. Oh damn! Are you a DJ?
I know, man. He's just like freaking sexy, man.
It is. It's smooth. It's like Barry White or something. I don't know, man.
I'm just saying we have to do that. We put that out there. Yeah. We're going to attract another 75 million.
It's going to be off the hook.
Because remember, the magazine's called Wired Magazine, not Unwired.
That's right.
Wired. Yeah. Wired.
Also, I discovered one day that wireless is comprised of wires.
You mean wireless is not wireless?
No, it turns out it's all made up of wires. And then
it's made up of wires.
The smallest part of it is wireless, actually.
But it's less wire.
Just like I also discovered that serverless is made up of servers.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
It's marketing mumbo jumbo.
My jumbo. Bill said this like 7 minutes ago, but this is the way my brain works. When you said that you are the translator, my head went to, and why I read this book, it's a funny story, but you were describing DNP3, this protocol. I'm serious. That is what you're saying, right? I have a SCADA system that will not talk to that process at all, because not only are the two OEMs refusing to even talk to each other, I am screwed. What do? I need DNP3. Let me put this sucker in the middle. You talk to me. I talk to you. Life is good. So, Bill, you are the MP3 on legs.
Oh my God!
Thank you very much.
Industrial protocol.
Always will be.
Yes. And for you kids at home who don't understand how it works, let me describe it for you. Person, machine talking this language over here. Device in the middle is the universal translator. It does speech to text, and then it translates that text to the other language text, and then trains that back to speech in that other language. And that's how you make two systems talk to each other. Boom.
There it is.
Or it could be universal. Remember that IBM ad where the guy put a thing on the table? It was like this universal configurator thing.
Adapter. The universal adapter.
Yeah.
Greatest B2B marketing shtick ever. That was
good.
That was
good shtick.
You know, the IBM commercials back then were awesome, right?
That was the best part of the company the commercials.
Yeah, the commercials. Yeah, even the idea of Smarter Planet was really good when they ditched that.
People were doing IoT.
And they were talking about AI stuff. You know, the whole Smarter Planet.
Smarter Planet.
I thought it was brilliant.
Smarter Planet was IoT and Watson.
Yeah.
And then we found out that Watson didn't really work.
No, it was more of like the strategy was
strategery.
Yeah. You
need that.
We talk about Kool-Aid drinking.
Yeah.
There you go.
We should have merged Watson with GE Digital because
that's when you just take control of the plane and you push the yoke forward and go full speed on the throttle, and we're just going to drive this thing straight into the ground.
But it's a perfect example of don't let your marketing get ahead of where you're really at with the stuff. You know what I'm saying? And kind of like what's happening with quantum.
What always happens.
Now, I know, but that's what's happening with quantum. You have all these people talking about, quantum this, quantum that. No.
Yeah, I'm going to hold my breath on all that quantum tech that's ready to go.
Hey, but it's real because we've seen pictures, black background with copper things coming out of it. Looks like the head from the robot from the original Lost in Space. I got that too, right? And then there's a spotlight so that people in sharp, tailored, Italian-looking suits can stand next to the machine and make a comment about quantum computing. It is real. It must be.
I've got a 1,000 qubit quantum computer in the back of my car. Yeah.
So get this. IBM, this is like CES. This was, I think, MWC about 3 years ago. Actually staffed their booth where they're displaying the one Q1 or whatever that thing was called, their quantum platform. Their job, they were called evangelists, but their job was to tell you, don't get too excited about this stuff. Their job was literally to temper expectations. Which I thought was really weird because people just go and they attach themselves to this idea that quantum somehow is so much faster than a conventional, computing device or computing. They didn't want people to go down that path, but lo and behold, 3-4 years later, we went down that path. And the evangelists didn't quite execute on their function.
So here's the big message, all you kids out there, from your Uncle Rob. All of you kids waiting for quantum and general AI, I predict that maybe by the year 2100, it might be in its infancy. So please stop holding your breath on this one, okay?
Yeah, just realize most of the stuff that you're dealing with out there is natural language processing and basic computer vision. That's about it. And everything that's stitching what those things are doing to a conventional system, those are just like coded algorithms. It's time to get real, folks.
We need to develop this neural network, not another neural network.
This is like Rick will say, this is the most efficient, AI computing in the world, and it's called real, intelligence.
Don't worry, kids. We're not going to reach that singularity next week. You're okay.
No. We'll run ourselves into a lot of trouble trusting crap AI.
Yes.
Don't trust it. Don't trust it.
The only thing you can trust is if this, then that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's legit.
Exact precision.
Way easier to troubleshoot too.
Yes.
Yep.
The only thing you can trust is zero trust.
Boom.
Zero trust. Yeah.
Yeah.
Send that guy a check.
Actually, you know what? I think you just invented something, Bill. Zero trust AI. Don't trust AI until it proves itself.
Exactly.
That's brilliant, dude. That is friggin' dude.
Wow.
You just, you can go off and like friggin' start a revolution. So, John Kinderbog, he started Zero Trust, right? Dude, this is your moment, man. Zero trust AI.
I'm just saying, this is my campaign this year.
Yes.
Zero trust AI, all of that.
Right.
Zero trust, period.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Until something proves itself, don't trust it.
Right. Yeah, then you don't have to worry about if it's biased or any of this crap. It's like, okay, you do your thing and let's see what the result is. And if it's crap, you're crap.
That's it.
It's crap AI. But who cares if it's biased? It's just wrong. It's lame.
Well, hopefully everyone will listen to you, Bill, because what I don't want is all these governments to start handing over their ICBMs to some AI system where that's totally in control by AI.
See, and this is when we all want to move to Dominican Republic. Because if the AI is hear me out. If the AI is decent, it should know that there's no strategic need to bomb a bunch of chicken, coconuts, and happy people. Do not waste a missile on my island.
Oh my God.
What are you doing? We'll be protected.
Totally. Awesome. Okay, guys.
Are you ready?
All right. Hey,
I have, before we go, just one thing. I don't know if you guys covered this before I jumped on, but in the past week, we've had two horrible events take place, Baltimore and Texas. And I truly just want to offer our heartfelt condolences and I mean, we have to do better. We just, as a people, we have to do better. And I mean, I have kids and everything. And I know you guys all do. So, I mean, you can't, I just want to say, heartfelt condolences and our prayers are with you.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know what? This is what I'll say. Obviously, we send our condolences. It's a horrible thing. But, I was really touched by something that I read. It was a statement by one of the fathers who lost his daughter, is that he doesn't want thoughts and prayers anymore, because those are not going to bring these children back. He's not going to bring his daughter back. He wants action. I had a great moment. It was so dramatic.
There you go.
Yeah, you're back.
Completely lost the call. Yeah. But action. Do something about it. Let's see you do something about it and solve the problem. But words don't matter anymore. Just freaking do it.
Just do it.
Just
like
do
Bill's
it.
T-shirt. Just like David's T-shirt.
And let's hold it accountable, those people who don't do anything about it and just keep things exactly the same. That's not going to work. Right? Okay. All right. Who wants to take this out?
David does.
Yeah, look, on that note, you've made it to another episode of IoT Coffee Talk, where we discuss, down from the Rockwell retro encabulator to the MP3 and the middle. This is the only place where you can get this, folks. So please subscribe at IoT coffeetalk.com. You do have to add www at the end if you're still using Netscape. Otherwise, any smart browser will get you to it. And we'll see you next week. To Bill's comments, let's be conscientious, right? Let's be better to each other as humans, and let's more action, less words, and we can leave it at that. Thank you for listening in, and we will see you next week. Stay safe. We send love.
Much love, everybody.